Sunday mornings in Cedar Hollow, Colorado, are the most peaceful time of the week. I, Stephen Bennett, sit in the small living room of our apartment, a steaming cup of coffee in hand, as the early sunlight slips through the curtains, casting golden patches on the worn wooden floor. Outside, the Rocky Mountains loom faintly through the mist, like a silent painting. My job managing the warehouse at the local factory leaves me exhausted, but Sunday mornings are when I unwind, forgetting the numbers and stacked up bills. I'm flipping through an old newspaper when my phone buzzes on the table. The screen shows Rachel, my wife. I frown, a bit surprised. Rachel rarely calls on Sunday mornings. She's usually busy with her freelance accounting work, even on weekends. After 15 years of marriage, our relationship isn't as passionate as it once was. We still love each other, but our conversations have grown brief. Sometimes just about household chores. I pick up, trying to sound cheerful. "Hey Rachel," I say, setting my coffee down. "What's up?" Rachel's voice on the other end is sharp, emotionless, like she's reading a notice. "Stephen, Monday, 11 a.m. at Pearson Sons Notary. I'm selling the cabin in Silver Pines. I've already taken the deposit from the buyers. You need to come sign the papers."
Before diving into the story, comment where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the latest video.
Rachel's words hit me like a thunderbolt. My heart feels like it stops, the coffee cup trembling in my hand. The cabin in Silver Pines, the small wooden house nestled among pine trees beside a sparkling stream, isn't just a piece of land. It's my grandmother's legacy, where I spent childhood summers running through wildflower fields, learning to fish and listening to her stories by the fireplace. The cabin is where I find peace, a tie to my past. Rachel knows this, yet she talks about selling it like it's just a transaction. "Rachel, what are you talking about?" I grip the table's edge, my voice shaking with shock and anger. "The cabin is mine. It's from my grandmother. You can't just sell it." Rachel responds, her voice cold and final. "Stephen, I've already done. The buyers are a nice couple. They want a mountain retreat. I've taken the deposit. You just need to sign the papers." My blood rushes to my head, my hand gripping the phone so tightly my knuckles turn white. "Sign the papers. Rachel, you have no right. The cabin is mine. My memory." "What are you doing? Why are you doing this without asking me?" Rachel sighs, as if my reaction is an inconvenience. "I'm doing what's best. You and I barely use the cabin anymore, and this money will help us. I've taken the deposit. There's no going back. 11 a.m., Monday. Be there on time." Before I can say more, the line goes dead. I stand there, phone still pressed to my ear, feeling like the world has just collapsed. I set the phone down, trying to breathe deeply, but images of the cabin flood my mind like a tidal wave. I remember summer mornings when sunlight pierced the pine canopy, lighting up the wooden porch. My grandmother would sit there, brewing tea, telling me about her youth, about how she and my grandfather built the cabin from the first log. Every corner of the house, from the crackling fireplace to the memory-carved wooden table, holds a story. The cabin isn't just a retreat, it's part of me, of my family. Rachel knows all that. We used to spend weekends at the cabin, fixing the roof, lighting campfires by the stream, laughing like nothing could tear us apart. But in recent years, Rachel has changed. She's grown distant, often taking secret calls and giving curt answers when I asked. Tried not to overthink it, assuming it was work stress. But now, as she declares she's selling the cabin without explanation, I can't help but wonder. I step onto the balcony, the cool breeze carrying the scent of pine from the nearby forest, but it can't calm the storm inside me. I think about our recent arguments with Rachel, about money, her overworking, how we've drifted apart, but I never imagined she'd do something this bold, selling the most important thing to me without discussion. I need answers. I can't let Rachel decide the cabin's fate. I grab my phone and dial Paul Hayes, my friend since high school. Paul always knows how to calm me down, and I need him now more than ever. "Paul, I need to see you," I say when he picks up. "Rachel just said she's selling my cabin. She's taken a deposit and wants me to sign paper." I don't know what's going on anymore. Paul pauses for a second, then says, "Good Lord, Steve, what's that about?" "All right, stay calm. Want to check out the cabin? Maybe we'll find something." I nod, though he can't see. "Yeah, I think I need to go there. I have to do something, Paul." I hang up, staring at the distant mountains. The cabin in Silver Pines isn't just a house, it's my heart. I won't let Rachel, or anyone take it without a fight. But deep down, I know this fight isn't just about keeping the cabin. It's about understanding what's happened to the woman I love. I grab my car keys, throw on a jacket, and drive to Paul's house on the outskirts of Cedar Hollow. Paul is standing in his front yard, coffee mug in hand, a familiar grin on his face when he sees me. "You look like you've seen a ghost, Steve," he teases, but his eyes quickly turn serious when he notices my expression. Paul nods, clapping my shoulder. "All right, let's go. We'll head to Silver Pines. Maybe there's a clue." We climb into my pickup truck, the familiar road out of Cedar Hollow stretching ahead. Dry grasslands line both sides, mixed with patches of lush pine forest, and the Rocky Mountains loom in the distance. But today, this road doesn't bring the usual calm. It feels like a journey to a battlefield, where I'll face a truth I'm not ready for. On the drive, I can't stop memories of the cabin from flooding back. I recall childhood summers when my grandmother took me to the stream near the house, teaching me how to bait a hook. "Good old Stephen," she'd say warmly. "Patience is key." I remember the smell of baking bread in the small kitchen, the crackle of the fireplace on cold winter nights. The cabin isn't just a house, it's where I feel I belong, where I can wash away life's trouble. "Has Rachel ever mentioned anything about money?" Paul asks, pulling me from my thoughts. "I mean, if she needs cash so bad she'd sell the cabin, there's gotta be a big reason." I shake my head, gripping the steering wheel tightly. "No, she hasn't said a thing, but she's been acting strange lately, Paul. She takes calls late at night, then brushes me off when I ask. I thought it was just work, but now I'm not so sure." Paul frowns, looking out the window. "Sounds like she's hiding something. But don't jump to conclusions, Steve. We'll figure it out." As we turn onto the dirt path to Silver Pines, my heart tightens. The cabin comes into view just as I remember it. Weathered wooden walls, a moss-covered roof, and wildflowers swaying in the breeze. The small stream glimmers in the sunlight, whispering old story. I park, step out, and take a deep breath. The scent of pine and damp earth hits me, pulling me back to carefree days. This is where I carved my name into the big pine behind the house, where I promised my grandmother I'd keep the cabin forever. "You?" Paul asks, noticing me standing still. "I never thought I'd have to fight to keep this place," I reply, my voice low. "But I won't let Rachel sell it." We step inside the cabin, the wooden door creaking as I push it open. Inside, everything is the same. The small living room with its worn sofa, the sooty fireplace, the kitchen with chipped mugs. I walk through each room, checking every corner, hoping to find something to explain Rachel's actions. "Steve, come look at this." Paul calls from the kitchen. He's standing by the table, holding a stack of papers he pulled from behind a drawer. They're real estate flyers, featuring pictures of my cabin, with a detailed description: charming wooden home in Silver Pines, ideal for family retreat. The listed price is sky high, stamped with a Denver real estate company's seal. I scan the pages. "She's been planning this for months," I whisper, my voice choking. "Rachel's been trying to sell the cabin behind my back." Paul shakes his head, his eyes darkening. "This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thing. She's been working on it carefully." "But why, Steve? What does she need the money for?" I stare at the papers, tears welling up. The cabin isn't just property, it's memories, my promise to my grandmother, the place Rachel and I built dreams together. Now she's turned it into a commodity. I feel both furious and helpless, like the foundation of our marriage is crumbling. "She has no right," I say, my voice trembling with anger. "The cabin is mine, legally mine. I'm not signing anything, Paul. I have to stop this." Paul puts a hand on my shoulder, his voice steady. "We'll get to the bottom of it, Steve. But stay calm. Maybe Rachel's in some kind of trouble. You know she's not the type to act without a reason. I won't let Silver Pines." But deep down, I know that to save the cabin, I have to confront Rachel and whatever secrets she's hiding. The drive back from Silver Pines to Cedar Hollow feels longer than usual, though I've driven it hundreds of times. When I get back to the apartment in Cedar Hollow, it's dark. The faint street lights shine through the window, casting shadows on the living room walls. Rachel is sitting on the sofa, phone in hand, her gaze distant. She looks up as I walk in, but says nothing. The silence between us is heavy, like an invisible wall. "Rachel," I say, my voice shaking with anger and pain. "Explain this. What are you doing with the cabin? When did you start trying to sell it?" "I just came back from Silver Pines, and I found the papers. You have no right to do this. Rachel blinks, her face briefly showing panic. But she quickly regains her composure. Stephen, I've already told you, she replies, her voice cold, almost identical to her call this morning. The cabin has to be sold. I've taken the deposit. That money will help us. I step forward, placing the stack of papers on the table in front of her. The rustle of paper echoing in the silent room. Help us. Rachel, what are you talking about? We're not in financial trouble. I know our income. The cabin is mine, legally mine. You have no right to sell it on your own. Why are you doing this? What are you hiding? Rachel looks down at the papers, her lips pressed tightly, but she doesn't answer immediately. I see her hands tremble slightly, her eyes avoiding mine, as if struggling to keep a secret. Stephen, I'm doing what's best, she finally says, her voice quieter but still firm. You don't need to know the details. Just go to Pierce & Sons Notary on Monday, 11 a.m. Everything will be fine. Fine? I nearly shout, feeling like my blood is boiling. You call selling my memories fine? Rachel, the cabin is my grandmother's legacy. The place I grew up, where we built memories together. You can't do this without explaining. If you're in trouble, tell me. We're married. Rachel stands, turning her back as if unwilling to face me. I've already said, Stephen. I've taken the deposit. There's no turning back. Don't make this more complicated. She walks into the bedroom, closing the door behind her, leaving me standing there, my chest heavy with helplessness. I collapse onto the sofa, hands cradling my head. Images of the old Rachel flood back. She was once the woman I admired, with a radiant smile and strength that captivated me. But now she feels like a stranger, hiding something I can't reach. Is she in financial trouble? Is someone forcing her? I need answers. I need to know the cabin is still mine. I grab my phone and dial Karen Walsh, a private investigator Paul once mentioned. Karen, an old schoolmate, now freelances, known for digging up the truth. When she picks up, I get straight to the point. Karen, I need help. Rachel's trying to sell my cabin in Silver Pines. She says she's taken a deposit, but I don't know what's going on. Can you check if the cabin is legally mine? Karen pauses, then responds calmly. Stephen, send me the details about the cabin and the real estate company you found. I'll check the ownership right away. But listen, if Rachel took a deposit without rights, she might be doing something illegal. You need to dig into her motives. Anything unusual? I tell Karen about Rachel's secret late-night calls, her recent distance, and how she dodges my question. She's not the Rachel I know, I say, my voice low. I think she's hiding something big. All right, Karen says. I'll check ownership first. But if I were you, I'd keep an eye on Rachel. If she's doing this behind your back, there might be a bigger reason than you think. I hang up, unease growing. I step into the bedroom where Rachel lies, eyes closed, but I know she's not asleep. Her breathing is uneven, as if hiding anxiety. I want to shake her awake, demand answers, but I hold back. If Rachel's in trouble, I need the truth before things go too far. I text Paul, arranging to meet him tomorrow morning. We need to dig deeper, to uncover the secret Rachel's hiding. But above all, I need to understand why the woman I love betrayed me this way. The next morning, I meet Paul at a small diner on the edge of Cedar Hollow. He's sitting in a corner, sipping coffee, his eyes sharp as I recount the confrontation with Rachel. She didn't say anything, Paul, I say, my voice low. Just told me to sign the papers, that the money would help us. But she's hiding something. I saw her eyes scared, like she's backed into a corner. Paul frowns, setting his coffee down. Steve, if Rachel won't talk, we've got to find out ourselves. Have you noticed her doing anything odd? Meeting someone? Going somewhere strange? I think back to recent weeks. The late night calls. How Rachel rushes out with work excuses. Then I recall this morning, when she left in a gray coat, saying she was heading to the office, but avoiding my gaze. She left the house this morning. I said she was working, but I'm not sure. Maybe she's meeting someone. Paul nods, his eyes lighting up. Then we follow her. If Rachel's hiding something, you might see it firsthand. You up for it? I hesitate for a second, feeling like I'm crossing a line. Follow my wife. But I know I have no choice. All right, let's go, I reply, my voice firm. We get into Paul's old SUV, and trail Rachel as she drives out of Cedar Hollow. She moves quickly, as if in a hurry, heading toward the Ironwood Lot industrial area on the outskirts. I grip the armrest, my heart pounding. Ironwood Lot is a desolate place, full of old warehouses and empty parking lots. Not somewhere a freelance accountant like Rachel would go. Rachel stops her car in front of a rusted warehouse, glancing around as if afraid of being watched, then steps in. Paul parks in a shadowed spot a few dozen yards away. "Be careful," he whispers, as we slip out, creeping toward the warehouse. The smell of oil and dust hits me, dim light from broken windows adding to the eerie atmosphere. The warehouse door is ajar, and I hear Rachel's voice sharp but trembling. "I told you I'm handling it," Rachel says, her voice tense. "The cabin sale was supposed to close today, but there's a problem. I just need a little more time." A deep, menacing male voice responds. "You're out of time, Rachel. You owe me. If I don't have the money by the end of the week, you know what happens." Paul and I hide behind a stack of wooden crates, my heart pounding. Through a gap I see Rachel facing a tall man in a leather jacket, a scar running down his left cheek. He glares at her with cold, predatory eyes. Rachel, usually strong and decisive, looks small and frightened before him. "I'll get the money," Rachel says, her voice shaky. "The cabin's worth more than the debt. I just need to convince my husband to sign the papers." The man steps closer, his shadow looming over the warehouse floor. "You better make it happen, Rachel, because if you don't, I'll take more than money. I know where you live. I know where Stephen is." I nearly gasp, but Paul grabs my arm, signaling silence. Sweat runs down my back, icy cold. Rachel owes this man, a dangerous figure, clearly not the kind type, and she's willing to sell the cabin, my legacy, to pay him off. The truth hits like a punch to the gut. This isn't about control or greed. Rachel is desperate. The man turns, vanishing into the warehouse's shadows. Rachel stands there a moment, shoulders slumped, then pulls out her phone, dialing someone. "It's me," she says, her voice almost a whisper. "The sale fell through. We need another way to get the money. I can't let him hurt Stephen." My heart clenches at my name. Despite my anger, I can't deny Rachel's trying to protect me. But why didn't she tell me? Why choose to go behind my back like this? I glance at Paul, who shakes his head, eyes full of worry. "Rachel's in deep trouble, Steve," Paul whispers as we sneak out of the warehouse. "That guy's not messing around. We need to find out who he is." I nod, my mind reeling. Back in the car, I call Karen Walsh immediately. "Karen, I just saw Rachel meet a man at Ironwood Lot," I say, my voice urgent. "He's got a scar on his face, mentioned a debt. Rachel's trying to sell the cabin to pay him. Have you found anything yet?" Karen responds quickly. "I've checked the ownership. The cabin's entirely yours, Stephen. Rachel has no right to sell it. But if she's taken a deposit, she might be under pressure. Send me details about that man. If he's as dangerous as you describe, we need to act fast." The drive back from Ironwood Lot feels like a nightmare. I steer through Cedar Hollow's dark roads. Paul beside me, silent but his eyes full of concern. Rachel owes a dangerous man, and she's willing to sell the Silver Pines cabin to protect me. But why didn't she tell me? Why betray our trust like this? I know I need to confront her. We can't keep going in the dark. When I step into the apartment, the dim living room light makes the air feel oppressive. Rachel stands by the window, gazing at the Rocky Mountains, her shoulders trembling slightly. She turns at the sound of me, her eyes briefly flashing panic as if she knows I've uncovered something. I can't hold back anymore, stepping closer, my voice shaking with anger and pain. "Rachel, I saw everything," I say, trying to stay calm but unable to hide the hurt. "Paul and I followed you to Ironwood Lot. I heard you talking to that guy. Who is he, Rachel? What do you owe him? And why are you trying to sell my cabin to pay him?" Rachel blinks, her face paling, as if her defenses have crumbled. She steps back, gripping the table's edge, then sinks onto the sofa, head bowed. Silence stretches, broken only by the ticking clock on the wall. Finally, she looks up, eyes glistening with tears, her voice trembling. "Stephen, I didn't want you to find out this way," she says, almost whispering. "I thought I could handle it myself." "Handle what?" I step closer, my voice sharper. "Rachel, we're married. If you're in trouble, you have to tell me. Why are you trying to sell the cabin behind my back? Who is he and how much do you owe?" Rachel wipes her tears, taking a deep breath as if summoning all her courage. "His name is Tony Salazar," she begins, her voice choked. "A year ago, I invested in a real estate project, thinking it could make money for our future. I wanted to do something big, Stephen, so we wouldn't struggle forever. But it was a scam. I lost all our savings, and to cover it, I borrowed from Tony. He's not a good man. He threatened to hurt you if I didn't pay." I stand there. Rachel tried to do something good for us, but her mistake dragged us into danger. How much? I ask, my voice low. How much do you owe him? Rachel lowers her head in shame. $75,000. With interest, it's nearly 80 now. The amount hits like a blow. We have some savings, but not enough for a debt this huge. I want to berate Rachel for hiding this, but seeing her frightened eyes, I know she's suffered enough. Why didn't you tell me? I ask, softer now. We could have worked it out together. You didn't have to sell the cab. I was ashamed, Stephen, Rachel whispers, tears streaming down her cheeks. I didn't want you to think I was a failure. I thought if I sold the cabin, I could pay off the debt and keep you safe. I'm sorry, Stephen. I sit beside her, emotions torn between anger and compassion. Rachel was wrong, but she did it out of fear for me. I take her hand. Rachel, no more hiding things from me. We'll deal with this together. She nods, tears still falling, but her eyes look light. I know we need a plan, and fast. I call Paul, filling him in, and he suggests reaching out to Uncle Edward, a retired businessman in Boulder. Edward's always been fond of you, Paul says over the phone. He might. I call Uncle Edward right away, briefly explaining the debt and Tony Salazar. He listens intently, his voice steady over the phone. Stephen, I'll help. 80,000 isn't a big deal for me. I'll send a check tomorrow. I feel a spark of hope, but Uncle Edward's warning sends a chill through me. I call Karen Walsh again, telling her about Tony and the meeting at Ironwood Lot. Karen responds firmly. I've dug up some info on Tony Salazar. He's got a rap sheet for extortion, and is wanted in Denver. If we lure him to a public place, I can tip off the police to grab him. But you and Rachel need to work together closely. I look at Rachel. She nods, her eyes resolute despite lingering fear. What are we going to do, Stephen? She asks. Lure Tony to Meadowbrook Park, I say, voice firm. Use Uncle Edward's money as bait. If Karen's right, the police will handle him. Rachel grips my hand, and for the first time in months, I feel a connection between us. Tony Salazar is a threat, but we'll face him together as a family. The next morning, I leave early, driving through Colorado's winding roads to Boulder, where Uncle Edward lives. His check is our best hope. The road to Boulder stretches through fields and pine forests, the Rocky Mountains towering majestically under the morning sun. But the beauty doesn't ease my unease. Uncle Edward greets me at his spacious home on Boulder's outskirts. His smile warm but his eyes worried. He's over 60, hair white, yet carries the demeanor of a successful businessman. I recount the whole story from Rachel's attempt to sell the cabin to the debt with Tony Salazar. Edward listens closely, fingers tapping on the wooden table. Stephen, I've always been proud of you, he says, his voice deep. But listen, guys, like Tony, don't let go easy. Money might not be enough to make him disappear. I nod, feeling both relieved and anxious. I know, Uncle, but we have a plan. A detective's helping us. She says Tony's wanted. If we lure him to a public place, the police can arrest him. Edward frowns, handing me the check. Be careful, Stephen. Guys like him can be very dangerous. If you need, I can hire protection for you and Rachel. I thank him, clutching the check tightly, but his warning sends a shiver through me. On the drive back, I call Karen Walsh to update her. Karen, I've got the money from my uncle, I say. We'll lure Tony to Meadowbrook Park, like you suggested. Found anything else on him? Karen's voice over the phone is resolute. Tony Salazar's bad news. He's not just a loan shark. He's tied to a Denver gang. You and Rachel have to be extremely careful. He might get suspicious. I nod, though she can't see. I understand. Rachel will call Tony, set up the park meeting. Can you coordinate with the police? Done, Karen replies. I'll be at Meadowbrook Park, making sure everything's set. Send me the exact time when Rachel sets the meeting. Back at the apartment, Rachel sits at the kitchen table, twirling a mug of tea, her eyes vacant. Stephen, what if the police don't catch him? Rachel asks, her voice trembling. He threatened you. I couldn't bear it if you got hurt. I take her hand, trying to reassure her. We'll pull this off, Rachel. Karen knows her stuff, and the police will be there. But you have to promise me, no more secrets, okay? She nods, tears rolling down her cheeks. I promise, Stephen. I won't put you in danger again. We spend the afternoon preparing. Rachel calls Tony, her voice steady, but I know she's scared. I have the money, she says over the phone. Meet me at Meadowbrook Park, 3 p.m. tomorrow. I'll hand it over and we're done. Tony agrees, his voice cold and menacing. Don't play games with me, Rachel. If anything's off, you'll regret it. Hanging up, Rachel buries her face in her hands, trembling. I pull her close, feeling both anger and tenderness. That night, as I step onto the balcony, overlooking the Rocky Mountains, I spot a black SUV parked across the street. Street lights glint off its windows, but I sense eyes watching. My heart races, hands gripping the railing. Rachel, I call urgently. Come look, I think someone's watching us. Rachel rushes out, her face paling when she sees the SUV. It's Tony, she whispers, voice shaking. He knows what we're doing. The SUV lingers for hours. A silent threat. I pull Rachel inside, locking the door. We have a plan. The money, and the police. But as darkness engulfs Cedar Hollow, I know tomorrow at Meadowbrook Park will be the biggest challenge we've ever faced. I just hope I'm strong enough to protect Rachel and keep the cabin, the place that holds my heart. Rachel and I barely sleep. The black SUV parked outside last night vanished before dawn, but the feeling of being watched clings to me like a shadow. Rachel holds my hand, her eyes a mix of fear and resolve. Stephen, are you sure? She asks, voice quivering. If this plan fails, Tony won't let us go. I squeeze her hand, hiding the dread gnawing at me. We'll make it work, Rachel. Tony won't get away, but inside I'm uncertain. Rachel, Paul and I arrive at Meadowbrook Park early. The park buzzes with children's laughter, the thud of runners' shoes on paved paths, and the faint scent of freshly cut grass. Tall oaks cast shade, interspersed with vibrant flower beds. Karen Walsh confirmed over the phone. She and plainclothes cops are blending into the crowd, ready to act when Tony shows. Rachel clutches the check in her pocket, her hands trembling. I stand close, trying to stay calm, but my heart pounds like it's breaking free. At exactly 3, Tony Salazar appears. He strides in from the main path, his black leather jacket stark in the sunlight, the scar on his left cheek starkly visible. He scans the area, his cold eyes sweeping over Paul and me a few yards away. I told you to come alone, he growls, hand in his jacket pocket, as if ready to pull something out. Rachel steps forward, her voice straining to stay calm. I have the money, Tony. 80,000, as agreed. Take it, and leave us alone. She pulls out the check, holding it up for him to see. Tony narrows his eyes, snatching the check, inspecting it closely. If this is fake, Rachel, he says, voice low and threatening, I'll be back. And next time, I won't be so nice. Before Rachel can respond, police sirens wail in the distance. Tony's head snaps up, his eyes shifting from surprise to panic. You set me up, he roars, lunging at Rachel, arm raised as if to grab her. I react fast, leaping in front of Rachel, shoving Tony back. He stumbles, tripping over a bench, then spins and bolts, weaving through the park's crowd. Don't let him get away, Paul yells, chasing after Tony. I grab Rachel's hand, pulling her along, heart racing. The crowd scatters, shouts ringing out as people realize something's wrong. Tony dodges strollers, leaps over a flower bed, and heads for the stream at the park's edge. I spot plainclothes cops in pursuit, guns drawn, but Tony moves like a hunted animal. Stay here, I tell Rachel, then sprint after Paul. Tony stumbles by the stream, dropping the check, but scrambles up, diving into dense bushes. Paul and I close in, breathing hard. Tony, stop, I shout, knowing he won't. A cop overtakes me, yelling, hands up. Tony glances back, eyes wild, and keeps running, but he trips on a root, crashing to the ground. In a flash, police swarm him, pinning him down, cuffing his wrists. Tony screams, cursing, but can't break free. You'll regret this, he hisses, as they drag him away, his icy glare fixed on Rachel and me. I turn back, seeing Rachel by the stream, pale but relieved. I rush to her, wrapping her in a tight embrace, adrenaline fading. He's caught, I whisper, voice catching. It's over, Rachel. She clings to me, tears streaming down her face. I'm sorry, Stephen, she says, voice trembling. I never wanted you in danger. I was wrong to hide it. I hold her tightly, torn between anger and love. I know, Rachel, but from now on we face everything together. No more secrets, okay? She nods, resting her head on my shoulder. Paul jogs over, panting but grinning. You good, Steve? Man, I thought I was in an action flick. I give a weak smile, tension easing. Karen Walsh appears, nodding at me. The cops got Tony, she says. He won't be out anytime soon with his warrants and new charges, but we need to talk to the real estate company to cancel the cabin deal. I nod, relief washing over me. But looking at Rachel, I know our journey isn't over. We need to rebuild trust, mend the cracks in our marriage. I think of Silver Pines, and know it's where we'll start anew. As the police haul Tony away, the park crowd disperses, resuming normal life. I hold Rachel's hand, feeling her warmth. We're going back to the cabin, I say, voice steady. We'll start over. Rachel smiles, her first hopeful smile in months. I know the road ahead won't be easy, but with Rachel by my side, I'm ready. Meadowbrook Park, with its bright sun and birdsong, becomes a symbol of a new beginning for me, Rachel, and the cabin in Silver Pine. The story of Stephen and Rachel Bennett, in the setting of Cedar Hollow, Colorado, mirrors the very real challenges many couples in the U.S. face today: financial strain, lack of communication in marriage, and the fallout from secretive decisions. Rachel's covert attempt to sell the Silver Pines cabin to pay off Tony Salazar, a loan shark, without telling Stephen, reveals a fracture in trust, a common issue in American families, when money or work stress erodes openness. Rachel's $80,000 debt, stemming from a scam investment, reflects how many Americans fall into risky financial schemes, especially in today's unstable economy. Stephen's journey from shock and anger, to forgiveness and teamwork with Rachel, to confront Tony at Meadowbrook Park, underscores the vital role of communication and unity in families. The lesson from this story is, in life in the U.S., where financial and personal pressures can easily tear relationships apart, honest communication is the key to overcoming crises. Instead of hiding struggles like Rachel, share them with loved ones. As Stephen insisted after learning the truth, seek support from family or professionals, like Uncle Edward or Karen Walsh, rather than acting alone. Finally, cherish family values, like the cabin for Stephen, as they provide a foundation for healing and moving forward, even in the toughest times. See you in the next video, with more emotional moments. Don't forget to subscribe and share this story to spread the spirit of unity and trust that Stephen rediscovered.